Friends, queens, kings, and everybody in between, welcome to Werk Words, where charisma meets conversation and drag comes alive in technicolors. I'm Ashley, and today we are talking with the Lexington Latin Poppy male entertainer, Mateo Vicio Hart. Mateo isn't just a performer, he's a storyteller, a community heartbeat, and just one hell of a performer. All across Kentucky, to having the spotlights at local drag brunches, he is what it means to be a male entertainer in Central Kentucky. Master of the art of slay and saying exactly what they need to say across the stages. Today we're diving in deep on what it means to be a performer, the authenticity, the glitz, the glamour, the grime, the grind. Costumes, performance, sneaking into drag shows to being the top lead in a drag show. We're going to talk about what has shaped Mateo into the performer that he is. So buckle up for tales of sequence, stardom, and self-discovery. Mateo is serving looks and serving work, and this is Werk Words. Let Mateo introduce himself.
Hello, I am Mateo Vicio Hart. I've been a drag performer for a little bit over a year. I've been entertaining ever since I was a child. I was a theater kid, played football, got into pro wrestling. Then I went from pro wrestling to burlesque, and then which led me to drag.
So you said that you have been doing drag for 1 year. What was your very first performance?
My very first performance was actually Richmond. It was Richmond Pride on June 1st of 2024.
I actually was there, and I have some footage of that, and I will insert it. I'm far away though, but it was really cool. I really because even though I was far away, me and my friend Drew were standing in the back, and we literally could see you. And I saw Nikki to the side, and Nikki was bouncing her hand up and down. And then I look over, and then I see Tori, and she's in her little bird feather outfit shaking it. And you just had commanded the crowd. Tell me what you were feeling when you were doing that performance.
I felt freedom because the first song I ever done during drag was a Tyler Childers song. It was about gay love. And this was also around the time that I first came out as pansexual, actually. So it was very much a healing moment to embrace that and to find love that. I brought my partner, who is also one of my biggest cheerleaders, my best friend, and on stage, and we kissed, and it was just a special moment.
I really like that. So with Richmond Pride, when you said that was your first performance, when you first walked out, and this is for people who maybe want to get into performance art instead of just doing the drag behind the scenes, you know how some people now are just YouTube drag stars?
Yes.
And performers, what was it like? What advice would you give to somebody who kind of wants to step out of that just being in their bedroom type drag to stepping out onto the main stage? What kind of advice would you give based off that first time you did it? What would you change?
Honestly, be yourself. Drag is for you to express yourself. You don't have to have custom-made costumes that are completely rhinestone. Yes, those are nice, but you don't have to have those. That's what I love about my drag, is that it separates me as a male entertainer from the rest of the male entertainers, because there's nobody in the Lexington area that does my drag. And that's what I love about it, is that it's me not only expressing my sexuality, but it's expressing my culture. Growing up in a household where I couldn't embrace being multiracial, and now I get to embrace that and just, have fun with it.
Tree.
Tree.
But continue, please.
It gives me a chance just to express my culture, embracing my culture, embracing who I am as a person. I have changed so much within the last year that I've done drag. My drag has evolved, and I've just become more able to be who I am. I say this all the time. I feel more comfortable as Mateo than as my government name, because Mateo is who I am, is who I always wanted to be.
Talked about costumes and not having to have rhinestones and stuff. I want to show off your outfit you have on now, because I think it's really, really cool. So we're gonna start from the shoes to the head to the shoes, and then I'm gonna have you remove the glasses because you have a little treat for us under there. identity, as his lovely partner said. We were talking about costumes a few minutes ago, and you were telling our audience that you really don't need to have all the glitz, the glam, the rhinestones to get into it. Let's talk about how you're dressed today. What made you choose this, and like why you feel comfortable in styles like this, and then what advice you have for people trying to come up with maybe like closet drags for the first time.
The reason why that I picked this is because like it's more like I grew up in early 2000s. I grew up around hip hop, urban, and this is the style that I bring. Nobody else in Lexington does reggaeton, does hip hop, does Daddy Yankee, Pitbull, what have you. And that's the stuff I enjoy doing because it's who I am.
So talking about, costumes and everything else, how do you separate yourself from other male entertainers?
Well, a lot of your other traditional male entertainers wear more like, some would say actual costumes. I say more like thongs and stuff like that.
More risque.
More risque, if you will. But I'm not comfortable wearing those. I suffer majorly from like body dysmorphia, and which drag has completely helped with that. I've embraced my body more now than what I've ever have growing up. My skin tone, everything, my stomach, all of that. But for me, it's empowering that I can still do the same thing they do, dress differently, and that's what separates me from them. I created my own path from where that, like nobody else does what I do, and that's why I tell people, just be you. Your drag is for you. It's to let yourself be free in a world where people like me that likes to wear eyeshadow and still be masculine and still be a cholo, if you will. Like you can still do that, and that's what I love about it. I love taking things that are traditionally feminine and make it mask and be like, ha, I still turned on your girlfriend.
Exactly. To get into your background, like your DNA, tell us your DNA makeup and how you feel like your identity is paving the way for your type of entertainment.
So I am black, Cuban, and some form of white. I don't really know. My mother was a drug addict who hated me because I came from a one-night stand with my father, and I was developed, and she didn't want to have a mixed child. So I had to grow up doing that and suffer from that identity disorder, which later on led me to developing BPD, borderline personality disorder. And with drag, it helped me embrace all of my different cultures. With black, I do a lot of hip hop, because I grew up on that. With Hispanics, I do a lot of reggaeton, because that's where I fall and more in line with now, and it's helped me find my identity, because with people with BPD has a struggle with finding who they are, and with drag it actually has helped me find who I am and be comfortable with who I am.
So that I understand this battle majorly being part Asian, and so when you step into these large platforms, these spaces with people who are looking at you and your communities, they're like, oh, you're not white enough to be here, but you're not this ethnicity to be here. How do you, on the stage, like if you've ever, like, have you ever combated that on stage? And if so, what kind of advice would you have to people who kind of are struggling with that type of identity crisis?
I haven't ever really struggled with that on stage, just because like the drag community, embraces everybody. A lot of the drag community shows a lot of love and a lot of passion and acceptance, because a lot of people in the drag community has a lot of issues with like embracing their identities.
Yeah.
There's been people who started drag and then comes out as trans female or trans femme, or vice versa, trans male, trans mask. That's because drag is a way for you to find who you are and embrace who you are and express that to a mass audience.
Yeah.
and it's accepting that way.
Yeah. So for me, I know that when I go to drag shows and like seeing somebody like you who represents somebody like me, that kind of gives me comfort. Like when I sit in that audience and knowing like, hey, he struggles with the same thing I do, and he's enjoyable, and he's not letting anybody bring him down. And that, I think, is why that makes you a well-rounded, one hell of a performer, first off, because not only do you understand your audience's struggles, you don't let your struggles take over. You're able to like fight through it.
Well, that's because, like, for me, drag is all about having fun. You know, it's about expressing who you are. And, like, a lot of people says, like, if your drag isn't political, then you're not really doing drag. I think that all drag is political in some form, fashion, or way. My drag is very sexual. I'll be the first one to admit that. I love being sexual. I'm a very sexual human being. And with that, you know, like, I'm expressing that it's okay to be sexual. It's okay to love your body and want to have sex with multiple people. Like, that's perfectly fine. So, you know, like, the thing is that with it, you know, just have fun with it. Like, if you just want to do open stage, that is perfectly fine. If you, like, you don't have to be in drag to make money. Is it nice to make money doing drag? Absolutely. Is drag expensive? Absolutely. Which is why, like, you thrift. You go to places, you, like, do all this, and then, like, you make it your own. Like, that's the best thing. You don't have to have every piece that you own. Does not have to be custom made. You know, like, you can go thrifting and then make it your own. Drag is about expressing yourself. And another advice I would be is, like, talk to somebody who's in drag. You know, because, like, a lot of drag queens will be there to offer their advice, their help. You know, because also, like, there's a culture within drag that, you know, the do's and don't do's and this and that, you know, which is, you know, helpful for you. It embraces you. It helps you put your drag out there more.
With putting yourself, like, finding somebody. If somebody wants to reach out to you after this video, how would you react if they wanted your help?
I would be ecstatic if people find themselves in drag. I would be ecstatic on, you know, like, try, even like if I don't know or I don't do that certain drag, I know people that do it, and I will point them in that direction of people that I know who would help them.
That's your next events. What you got coming up?
This Saturday, I will be at Crossings in Lexington for Adriana Fuentes Fantasy Saturday. Showtime at 10, $5 cover. I also have the newcomer competition for Pride of Moorhead finale that I will be performing at. I will be at 2K Talent at Crossings at the last Friday of this month, which is always a fun show. And then Berea Pride. I will be at Berea Pride as well.
When is Berea Pride? It's October, right?
September.
I'll get the dates and I'll put it in the comments.
Yes. I will be in the 4 o'clock show at Berea Pride.
Awesome. This is Mateo. You better go check him out. Watch this video, like, subscribe. Mateo is one of Fire Goddess of the Mountains family members, along with Nikki, you know, Fire Goddess, all over my channel, one of my partners and crime on this channel. So give this boy some love, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.